where the light won't reach. Whisper low so it sounds like peace. Lay your head, let the ceiling spin. You don't have to begin again. I've been here where the air goes thin. Saw what happens when you try to win. Better stay where the walls don't move. Nothing left that you have to prove. I don't push, I pull you close till you forget what you wanted most. It's just the way of the world. Down in the dirt where the flowers bloom.
People, my people.
You'll feel the power of an empty room. It's just the way of the world. Just wait a moment and we'll start again. You are the enemy of my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. Take my hand, feel the current slow. I can show you what I know. Every spark only burns you out. Every dream just a longer drought. I don't lie, I just dim the flame. Give your hunger another name. Call it calm, call it letting go. Call it all that you'll never know. If you don't raise, you don't fall apart. That's the safest way to break up. It's just the way of the world. Down in the dirt where the flowers bloom. It's just the way of the world. You'll feel the power of an empty room. It's just the way of the world. Just wait a moment and we'll start again. You are the enemy.
Step ran long. That's fun.
My friend, my friend, my friend. Stay down, stay near. I need you right here. Stay down, stay small.
All right. Oh my God. Hold on. Still got a graphic up. What's happening? Welcome to the show. Good morning, everybody. All right, can I just start right out of the gate? Chat room, welcome to the greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms. It's Hal Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide. It's a Monday, and it's just us today. I don't have any guests this morning. Too much to cover anyways, so I feel like I would just talk over everyone as it is. And can we just start with stop? Just stop. Members of the media, can you just with the not? Can you stop? Can you just quit it? Stop pretending there's a deal. It's first of all, it has always ever been just a memorandum of understanding, which is an agreement to keep talking and keep the static ceasefire the way it has been, with, by the way, open warfare between us and Iran via their proxies with us and them and Israel and them. And then it's ridiculous. Stop calling it a deal. Trump did not have ghostwritten for him a book called The Art of the Memorandum of Understanding. Just stop it. But you should start subscribing. I did look at one of those statistical analyses of my YouTube channel, and yeah, 77% of my viewers aren't subscribed, which says a lot about my numbers, actually. It explains my viewer hours versus my subscription numbers. And I would also like to say, kind of in a good way. You know what I mean? I knew I was more popular than they even said. If I may. It's a hair down Monday. You're just going to have to deal. And there was a moment where Trump said a little bit ago, it was an odd moment when he was brain farting at that prayer breakfasty thing they were doing with the little golden eagle on the front of his thing, on the front of the podium, like he wasn't the president of the United States, he was a Roman senator or something. And he started asking how the deal was going, and again, deal in air quotes. And he asked JD Vance. Why did he ask JD Vance? Because JD Vance was the one that it was apparently the memorandum of understanding czar with Iran, we would find out. And he says in that meeting, if it works out, I'm going to take total credit for it. But if it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD Vance. Right? That was the shtick. That was the Dumassery of. There was a stack of it in that particular thing, but that really stood out as an obvious nod to the fact that Trump is totally disengaged from this. And I guess thankfully, I suppose, if there's any kind of hope for a deal, it will be if he is not engaged. Preferably on the Obama deal level, meaning someone else is president. But even in this particular case, the idea that he's going to take credit for it if it works and blame JD if it doesn't, we're not even in the deal part of it. And let's see, let me open up. Let me see, Axios, because it's so embarrassing. Barack Rabin, is that his name? Ravid? Barack Ravid. Yeah, this dude is amazing. In terms of just being a stenographer for the White House. Like, move over Jesse Waters. There's a new mouthpiece in town. And U.S. and Iran reach deal to extend ceasefire and open strait. Okay, that's not... A deal would be to solve the issue at hand. The nuclear weapons thing, or the nuclear power, or the nuclear material necessary to have nuclear power that you could also eventually turn into a weapon. That's where a deal is needed. This was already happening before the fucking war. The strait was open and there was no firing going on. It's not a deal. You can't make a deal to go back to where we were. Yeah, that's the Axios guy, Barack Ravid. So, hold on. Now do I have to sign in for this dipshittery? Wait 1 second. Okay, the Google. Something like that. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So, this is just friggin' painful. There is no deal. Stop it. There is a memorandum of understanding to keep talking for another 60 days in exactly the way we've been talking so that they can argue that they got out so that we can do this again. By the way, if you think this shit is over, you thought the same goddamn thing last year after the bombing. Remember all that? Oh, thank God it's over. It's all done now. Put that behind us. Oil prices are going to come down. Everything's going to go back to normal. Well, I hope so we can deal with the Epstein files. But the U.S. and Iran agreed, and okay, read this. Fuck me. Read that. Read that. Read it. U.S. and Iran reach deal to extend ceasefire and open strait. Okay. Deal. I have told you guys about the yeah, but for a long time. And you guys, anybody who's a regular viewer of this channel knows that journalism works in such a way that you present your premise for the article. You also have to say that, this is based on the information we have, and there may be other information that contradicts this, or there may be active information that contradicts this, and this is new information that may not work out, or it may work out, and that's called the yeah, but. And the yeah, but is either paragraph 3 in a big New York Times kind of paper, or paragraph 5 in a USA Today thing, where they're doing blurbs that are like 3 sentences long and passing them off as paragraphs. Okay. Axios is that on crack. It's basically just a bullet list of whatever the story is. So it goes from deal, right, to framework. The U.S. and Iran agreed to a framework extending their ceasefire for 60 days with a formal signing ceremony expected Friday. What? Friday. And nuclear talks to follow. I mean, if you got a boner for deal, believe me, you hit Vienna sausage somewhere around memorandum of understanding, and framework has made you completely lose your chub. Framework extending their ceasefire for 60 days, which again is, I think we can all agree, another example of Trump tacoing.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise your taco, take a bite.
This is so aggravating. And you know what? At a certain point, you don't even get aggravated at the source that should be the aggravation, the biting dog, as it were. You get angry with the person who doesn't keep it on a leash. It's not the dog's fault. It's just biting at this point. It knows no other way, right? But if you left the gate open and let it run around the neighborhood biting everybody, it's your fault, not the dog. Okay, and to some degree, because Trump has the brain of a German shepherd in its last weeks of life, it's now the media has some responsibility in carrying water for this bullshit, and it's aggravating. It's aggravating me more than, because I don't expect there to be a deal. I expect more of this bullshit that we've had. How I thought of you yesterday when I heard deal. Yeah, because you knew when I saw this, like him announcing it at his fucking bullshit birthday party nonsense, Cheryl. I was like, nope. Immediately. As soon as they said that, I'm like, nah, no, that's not, not at all. Not happening. Somebody is a GSD owner, a good super dog, a good super good boy, a good boy. But I'm sorry if that's the way you feel about it. I'm using that as a reference. But anyway, so here, let's look at this. I'm going to show you Hegseth talking on Face the Nation. U.S. and Iran agreed to a framework extending their ceasefire for why it matters. Excuse me. I object, Your Honor. Presumes facts not in evidence that it does actually matter. The agreement could reopen the Strait of Hormuz, ease pressure on global energy markets, and create a window for negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Could. Oh, heavy lifting on the could. The memorandum of understanding, notice it takes him down to here. This is the yeah, but. What passed for 3 paragraphs? Deal. Framework. Agreement could. Then we get to what it's actually fucking called in the third one. The memorandum of understanding would mark the war's biggest diplomatic breakthrough and buy time for negotiation over unresolved nuclear questions. The nuclear question is allegedly the only fucking reason we're there. No. Horse shit. Get out of my face with this nonsense, you cretin.
This is some bullshit. We see through it.
There's no deal. This is not. If we got into this just to make sure they're never going to have a nuclear weapon, and that's the unresolved part of it, then none of this part about talking towards them not having a nuclear weapon where they'll eventually maybe agree to it, which they have fucking not, is not a deal. It's exactly where we were before the war started. It's still the same unanswered question. It's exactly the same. If they get back to the strait being open and I guess a ceasefire technically, and maybe at some point Iran will have to be stopped from having a nuclear weapon, that's where we were in fucking January. Ugh, this is so stupid. The big picture. Tell me about it, Ravid. Come on, Barack, buddy. Rocky, what's up? The big picture. The agreement is designed to restore shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Restore being the operative word, which before the war handled about 20% of global oil and liquefied natural gas. You don't say. But it leaves key nuclear issues to be negotiated over the next 2 months, which was the only reason we attacked Iran in the fucking first place and killed 170 schoolgirls and bombed a water treatment plant and sent their navy to the bottom of the sea so there'll be some good snorkeling in the Persian Gulf. Fully reopening the strait may not happen immediately. No. I'm gonna be fine. I'm okay. I'm breathing. I'm centering myself. These motherfuckers. Okay. May not happen immediately. No shit. Mine clearing, repairing infrastructure. What are you going to do? Where there's some hydrogen molecules separated from some fucking oxygen molecules and the water doesn't work anymore? Shit don't float. And guaranteeing security could take time before a full return to pre-war shipping volumes. A full return to pre-war shipping volumes, wherein over the last few months, we bombed a bunch of places, killed some civilians, had some of our service people die, held up this shit so that, Americans were literally setting their fucking money on fire, paying for higher gas prices, because it's not like we get a, oh, it's open now refund, like investors in oil do. Sons of bitch. Okay. Driving the news. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif announced Sunday the framework agreement to reopen the strait and launch nuclear talks after 107 days of war, just like Venezuela. It's very similar to the Venezuela. President Trump said soon after the U.S. would lift its naval blockade while Iran was expected to reopen the strait with more detailed nuclear negotiations to follow. There have been none. There are no details in this about nuclear negotiations other than the idea of negotiations, which is not a fucking negotiation. It's not. There's not been an agreed to point on any of Iran's nuclear ambitions, both civilian and military. None. So you can't add detail to something that isn't fucking happening. And I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. And I'm breathing. And we're home. Home. I'm fine. Also, even calling it an agreement, it's a memorandum of understanding. They don't agree to any of it. They understand. I understand. You understand? I understand. You understand? Okay. We understand? Okay. We may not agree, but we understand we can't be doing this. That's what a memorandum of understanding is. It's when you can't find an agreement and you need time to agree. Motherfucker. I'm okay. I'm all right. What we're watching. Barack, I hope you're watching this. Please watch this clip. Someone send a clip of this after the show to this moron at Axios. Stop. If there is a key element to journalism, it is the proper use of words. What we're watching. Sharif and Iranian officials said the formal signing ceremony would be Friday in Switzerland. Oh, did they? Trump said on Truth Social that the opening of the strait would take place only upon the signing of the deal on Friday for purposes of mine removal. We're only going to open it to minesweepers on Friday. In theory. Iran's Supreme National Security Council said the war and military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon, will end immediately and permanently beginning tonight. The statement said the negotiations on a final agreement will take place only after the other side has implemented its commitments under the Memorandum of Understanding. Well, as I understand it, beg your pardon. As I understand it, let's see. Memorandum, the negotiation of the final has implemented. There are no commitments from us on the Memorandum of Understanding at all. All of our commitments are if Iran does what it's supposed to, then we will. All of our commitments are reactions, not actions. This is all about money in the stock market for Trump? Yes, absolutely. Well, I think it's less about the stock market and directly about oil prices, Michael, in this particular case, and the general economy, because the general economy is screwed. The oil markets and the stock market can make money whether oil goes up or down. People short it. People, they make money whether it's going up or down. They're capable of that in the markets because it's basically a betting, machine, like a cash machine. The problem with that is that the average citizen doesn't play it like that. You got to fill your tank. That's the gamble you look at. You leave the house not knowing what gas is going to cost you, and that's how you get to work, and how you get to pick your kids up at school, and that's how you get to the grocery, and that old-fashioned word. Anyways, okay, breaking it down. Break it down again. Those are my dreams, and these are my plans. The agreement calls for the U.S. and Iran to negotiate an agreement to negotiate. We have been negotiating the whole time, according to both sides. Have we not? So negotiation has nothing to fucking do with it, because that's been happening since before the war, since before last year's bombing, between the bombing and this year's war. We have been, in theory, allegedly negotiating the whole time. And one would, I would guess that Iran's nuclear enrichment was part of that negotiation the entire time. Yes. Anyone under the impression that negotiations have been ongoing for a long time about Iran's nuclear material and their enrichment and their development of a weapon? So now we've got a signed piece of paper that we're gonna say what we're gonna keep doing what we were doing, and that's progress. We got a piece of paper that says we're going to do what we're already doing. To the same effect, I'm guessing. Except I guess Iran can make money selling oil during this time. And the disposal of its highly enriched uranium during the 60-day window. So the agreement is about the when of negotiations versus the if and the negotiations themselves. Okay. The U.S. will discuss, or will they, sanctions relief, but they're going to discuss it. Is there a promise in the Memorandum of Understanding that Iran is cool, that we're going to discuss it? And the release of frozen Iranian funds, with relief expected to be tied to Tehran's compliance. Exactly like the JCPOA. So we're bombing our way back to Obama. We'll just have a new word. Obama-ing. Anything that Obama got by peaceful means, we'll Obama our way back. While Obaming things. All right. The ceasefire covers fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, which flared up again Sunday. So it fucking doesn't. I don't, what? How do you write that sentence without punching yourself in the face? How do you do it? Somebody, chat room, help me out here. How do you... The ceasefire covers fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, which flared up again Sunday. What? How? What? I would, if I type that sentence out for work and not comedy, I would start beating myself up like I was in the flashback sequences of Fight Club. Oh, Obamaing? Yeah. Obambing? Right. So stupid. The ceasefire covers fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, which flared up again Sunday. How dumb? This dumb. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. When you... The level of abuse of word processing that we are seeing. State of play. Let's get down to the task bracks. The agreement comes after a volatile final stretch. Israel struck Hezbollah targets in Beirut hours before the expected signing, prompting Iranian threats to walk away from the deal. Yeah, and in the next 60 days, nothing like that'll fucking happen. Iran made operational preparations for an attack on Israel, according to U.S. and Israeli officials. They did attack Israel. What are you talking about? U.S. negotiators. Oh, wait. We have negotiators? That would presume we've been negotiating this motherfucker. All right. You're funny with the whole words and stuff that we've been doing this the whole time. Together with Qatari and Pakistani mediators, scrambled to avoid an Iranian attack on Israel that would likely have generated a harsh Israeli response and potentially derail the deal. But Tehran's officials ended up holding off. What they're saying: the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. What they're saying, Trump. This ends with Trump wrote on Truth Social. The deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. No, it isn't. It's a memorandum of understanding for 60 more days of talks. It has nothing to do with their nuclear material at all. Congratulations to all. These are the kind of things you write when your brain is in a constant state of paint huffing. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz. No, you don't, because it wouldn't even start till Friday after the signing, and then only after mine shit. Okay. And simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines. Okay, no. Again, immediately walked back. It doesn't start till Friday until the mines are removed, if there are any at all. Hit the like, share the show. Super chat's always welcome. Patreon.com/HalSparks, and of course the Venmo. You know, I have to say, where's that? There you go. If just like 10% of the viewers that aren't subscribed, we'd hit 100K like that. No pressure. And I'm not trying to hint at anything, but just putting it out there. Said an actor to a bishop. Okay. Minutes later, Sharif posted on X that a peace deal between the U.S. and Iran has been reached, adding, both sides have declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Okay, we can't actually declare immediate and permanent termination of military operations on behalf of Israel. We could try. but they're a sovereign country. I know there's some debate about whether we are in terms of them and the whatever, the Canada's ONC, whatever. But if some asshole in Lebanon decides they're not listening to Iran today and they fire into Israel, or somebody in Israel decides they're going to fire on a site because it's too cherry to miss, and they just decide to fire, and then, which has happened forever. I don't. I'm just annoyed. All right. Sharif said the deal was now in place. Okay, no, it isn't. It's a verbal deal isn't worth the handshake it's printed on. Meanwhile, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi. There's two ba. I don't know if there was an extra. Did they add an extra ba in there since the last time we spoke? Garibabadi, sure, whatever, told Iranian media that the text of the Memorandum of Understanding had been finalized. The text of the Memorandum of Understanding had been finalized. Does that sound like a deal has been reached? Some of the revisions Tehran asked to make in the text of the MOU were accepted after Sunday's escalation in Lebanon, he said, meaning the U.S. we changed our wording of it Sunday after Trump said it's all good. Garibabadi said threats from Iran's armed forces helped facilitate progress in the negotiations and contributed to the finalizing text. So Trump chickened out was the idea, and that's how it's there. They scared the fertilizer out of Trump.
Take a bite. Trump always
Needless to
chickens
say.
out.
In advance, several issues remain unresolved during negotiations. The armed forces were prepared to deliver a decisive response. And again, to the Iranian people and the Persians in the country, I want to say I've never felt a bigger kinship, because both our countries are run by arrogant assholes with dreams of ruining the world. What's next? Sharif said Pakistan and other mediators would facilitate a series of meetings this week. Why? It's a series of meetings followed by technical talks. Why do you have to? Aren't you just? You've agreed on the memorandum. Nothing can move forward until the memorandum is signed. That signing happens on Friday. Why have a bunch of meetings? Oh, because the text is going to change on the Memorandum of Understanding. You understand? Okay. The sides have given themselves 60 days to reach a technical agreement. Yeah, it's just technicality. On how to downblend Iran's highly enriched uranium, or if, and both freeze and monitor its nuclear program going forward. They've given themselves this 60 days. Isn't that nice of them? That's a tall order given how difficult it was to reach the much less detailed Memorandum of Understanding. I hate this. I hate it so much. Again, how do you write this without slamming your head on your own desk or in your own car door as you're you finish work for the day, you turn the article in, you walk to the door, you open your car door, and then you just lean forward and start going, halonk, halonk. The U.S. side insists Iran is incentivized to reach a final agreement because sanctions relief and access to frozen funds depend on progress on the nuclear front. Sorry, if we drop the blockade, Iranian ships are still going to be able to move out of the area, and China is getting a break from the sanctions, so it doesn't fucking matter. Some hawks in the U.S. and Israel worry there will never be a final deal, and the war will end with the nuclear question unresolved. Okay, first of all, fuck you. I'm not a hawk about this at all. I'm not in the same boat as Lindsey Graham. I'm simply calling bullshit on this. I'm not like, get him, I'm just saying there's nothing to be gotten. This was a waste of fucking time, and a bunch of kids got killed because Trump needed a distraction from the Epstein files, and we're back at best where we were, and we still have, and except we have more radical people running Iran. So the chances of them desperately trying to get a nuclear weapon now is higher than ever. Never mind drones with biological weapons. Ugh. Now, I'm sorry. I'm punching myself in the face right now just hearing this. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah. Editor's note. This story has been updated with additional details throughout. Yeah, the part where they walked shit back. Ugh. Barack Ravid, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, does that sound like a deal? We have an is it a memorandum of expectation now? If you have a deal and that's how it's going to be under international law, then that should be in the deal. And breaking that deal obviously has consequences. Vance says U.S. expects Hormuz open toll-free long term. In the short term, however, Vice President J.D. Vance said on Monday that the United States expects womp, 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 womp. Sorry, I should have done that for you. Really? Do you expect it? It's, okay, cool. Can you go and get me a cup of coffee and one of those chocolate donuts with some sprinkles on it while you're expecting? This whole thing just reeks of a big couch hump, you know what I mean? Couch humping.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, take it higher, can't retreat, feel the rhythm, can't deny, couch humping, reach the sky.
Ugh, it's just a big couch hump, this whole thing. Expects the Strait of Hormuz to remain open on a toll-free basis for the long term, even as he acknowledged that key details of the arrangement are still being negotiated. I hate this. I'm so aggravated. His remarks came a day after Washington and Tehran announced a framework agreement to end their conflict and reopen the waterway. No. They presented a framework agreement to reopen the waterway, again, reopen, because it had been open, and extend a ceasefire while they work on ending the conflict, because the conflict is and has always been about whether or not they can or will have a nuclear weapon or nuclear material or where it will go and blah, 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 blah. And that's what's, oh, God. Love you too, Nola Carnes. Nola Carnes. I'm trying to read your name on it. Thank you. Arg. Shippers, and these are the little titles on it. Shippers remain cautious on Hormuz Strait transit. No kidding. Vance says he hopes to release the. Oh, let's see this one. It says funds won't be transferred to Iran in exchange for signing of the war. This is the, yeah, updated an hour ago. Reuters, Vice President J.D. Vance said on Monday that no funds would be released to Iran in exchange for signing an agreement to halt the war and open the Strait of Hormuz, and the text of the framework deal would be shared this week. What do you think the chances are, kids? What do you think the chances are that there's some argument about the actual text of the framework between now and Friday? There's been no money released, and that won't change. Okay, that's according to some reporting, I would say that's a lie. that they have done it through proxies. They've released it through other people. They released it to Qatar, and Qatar released it to them. We didn't release it to Iran, right? They're doing everything they can to tap down, dance around this. Holy shit. Vance said Iran would receive money only if it took verified steps to eliminate its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, just like the JCPOA. If we see the Iranians making, for example, taking action to eliminate their stockpile of enriched material, then yes, sanctions relief will follow. If we see the Iranians taking action to allow the kind of verification regime that we need to see to know that they're not going to build a nuclear weapon, yes, sanctions relief will follow. Cool. Can you prove a negative? That's fun. And again, just like the JCPOA. You're listening to JCPOA Radio. Yesterday's hits today.
Couch humping.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat.
I hate this. Reminds me of Cleavon Little in Blazing Saddles. What's happening? I don't know, but I hate it. If they don't do the right things, if they don't allow the verification regime, they're going to get a spanking. They're going to get their little behind whacked. They're never going to have the money to rebuild their nuclear program to begin with. Sorry, so the sanctions relief is so they can rebuild the nuclear program? Huh? Also, you don't think they've been selling oil this whole fucking time, stupid? Trump's been letting it sneak out. All right. In an interview with CNBC Monday, Vance also said the United States expects the economically vital waterway would be open without tolls. Oh, do we? Our expectation is that the strait is going to be opened in a toll-free way for the long term. In a toll-free way. Jesus, he's been hanging around Trump, right? And you can tell by the interesting word usements he structures. That's the sort of thing that we're going to figure out in these technical negotiations. Oh, will we? You know that there are a lot of very important details to figure out that we're actually going to sit at the table and discuss together and figure out a path forward. We haven't been doing that the whole fucking time. They've been begging to make a deal, but without any details. Ugh. This is so, all right. So let's jump over here to Keg Breath. Pete Hegseth says U.S. is already doing things I can't talk about to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Why not? Why can't you talk about mine removal? Why can't you talk about what are you keeping hidden? What is it? Are the ships going through a glory hole? Are they driving giant ships through your unmentionables?
Face a key decision point today that has implications for the global economy and potentially could stop nearly 4 months of conflict with Iran.
Potentially could. Womp womp.
As we come on the air, a preliminary memorandum of understanding between
Oh, that sounds so powerful. Powerful. You have to put like beautiful, clean coal. You have to like say powerful, rock hard preliminary memorandum of understanding. Shit. When you put preliminary on it, that makes it sound even worse.
Washington and Tehran has yet to be signed. But if and when the agreement takes effect, it would extend the ceasefire, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and kick off 60 days of negotiations to resolve the other big issues.
You mean the only ones that are supposed to matter in this conflict at all?
Yet, even as both sides signal a deal is within reach, hostilities in the region continue. This morning, the Israeli Defense Force conducted strikes in Lebanon on Beirut's southern suburbs to target the Iranian-backed Hezbollah leadership. The IDF called it retaliation for strikes on Israel.
Oh, did they?
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
CBS has learned the potential U.S.-Iran truce includes a vague reference to ending the fighting in Lebanon, which may not be enough for Iran's leaders. And Iran's failure to cut off support for its proxy force Hezbollah may not be enough for America's partner, Israel. For the latest, we begin this morning with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who joined.
Sorry, did she just call him Pig Hegseth? Wait. This day might just be salvaged after all.
For the latest, we begin this morning with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who.
I think she called him Pig Hegseth. Pig Hegseth.
For the latest, we begin this morning with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who.
I bet she just won $50 in the CBS Subversion news poll. I bet you I can say Pig Hegseth and he won't even know it. Pig Hegseth. We got a new one. Pig Keg Breath works like a charm. Shit.
For the latest, we begin this morning with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Pig Hegseth. That's it. There's no, yeah.
Who joins us from Tennessee. Mr. Secretary,
What the fuck is he doing in Tennessee?
welcome to Face the Nation.
Is he? He's probably there going to a show with Kash Patel's girlfriend.
Good morning, Margaret. Thank you.
So, did the Hezbollah Israel strikes disrupt any of the plans to have this memorandum signed today? Are we on track for a Sunday signing?
No, we are not.
From all I know, we are on track.
Well, guess what? Turns out, not so much. I don't even know how we work that out. Do you think?
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
Matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah. When first, then if. Once you have a date, then we can worry about if. And guess what? It didn't get signed yesterday. Remember there was going to be a digital signing, and then it got punted to fucking Friday. Why not? Why? If you want to spend the rest of your life without a nuclear program, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
There's logistics involved into how these things happen. Ultimately, obviously,
There are? Since when? There are logistics involved in how these things happen? You don't say.
we're attuned to what's happening with Hezbollah firing rockets into northern Israel, which they need to stop doing, and Iran needs to encourage them to stop doing that in very adamant ways. And
I see. It's the lack of adamance.
Israel was very measured in its response, understanding that a deal we're on the verge of a deal. So I don't expect that to disrupt.
And Israel we're on the verge of a deal. Sorry, it had already been announced, dummy.
Expect more robust talks there. The negotiations business is not really mine, but I think those talks will continue. And if Iran.
Robust negotiations, ongoing talks. Oh, so that you love to hear it. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to do my interpretation of what Pete Hegseth and all the other right-wingers who are trying to polish this turd are doing on all these shows. Grumble. Anyways, back to where is it? Back to
Hello there.
Pig Keg Breath. Sorry.
Wants this to hold, they need to pull back Hezbollah, no doubt.
So this memorandum would be an extension of the ceasefire, as you said, with a promise.
How is there a source that reports actual human casualties? No, there isn't. You have to take the Iranians' word for it, and you have to take Trump's word for it. There are more injured soldiers than they have told us about. We know this because there was more damage to the Gerald Ford than they told us about initially. It had to go to Greece and be repaired. One of the other reasons why they've extended this thing and why we will probably get back to bombing them in a little bit is because repairs are ongoing on the Gerald Ford, and then it will return to the Persian Gulf. Also, he wants to attack fucking Cuba.
To keep talking. Given how clear President
The promise to keep talking.
Trump has been that he wants to end combat.
Yeah, it's the only, by the way, Keep Talking is a great Pink Floyd song. And trivia, it's the only song that I know of in the entire Pink Floyd catalog that includes a person who went to Epstein's Island.
Will the U.S. troops come back home? Will those 2 aircraft carriers be pulled back?
Well, Margaret, what I would say the president's been most clear about is that Iran will
No. She's asking you what's least clear, dipshit. No. They will never have a nuclear weapon, by however that happens. The point of the news, stop me if you have any issues with understanding your memorandum of understanding what the words that are coming out of my mouth, is that the news isn't necessary for the shit that is obvious and we all understand. It's there to fill in the gaps in what information we don't have access to and explain, in some cases, the details of things that aren't readily apparent. I mean, at its root.
never have.
Okay, so watch her finish that sentence again, and then watch me get annoyed.
Will those 2 aircraft carriers be pulled back?
Will those 2 aircraft carriers be pulled back? Are our service people coming home? Earth below us. All right.
Well, Margaret, what I would say the president's been most clear about
Is Mr. Diaper go boom boom?
that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Never, full stop. And this deal, as we talk about aspects of the deal, some of which have come out publicly are totally wrong, it's performance
You mean the stuff from Trump?
based. No money released to Iran until they perform. There's no trust and verify. There's no trust here, and we're going to verify everything. Nuclear.
Okay, trust but verify is the phrase. It's also a biblical term, an Islamic term. It's an Abrahamic term. Trust in Allah and tie up your camel. That's where that comes from. Trust but verify means you don't trust them.
Material will be destroyed and removed. The nuclear program will be dismantled. The straits will be open. No tolling.
He's reading talking points. These are the things they have to say. And this is something that Trump has been very clear on. Or what? You understand that none of this has any fucking meaning whatsoever unless they're going to do this or boom, right? Which is what he's been saying this whole time. This is the 40th time we've got to some point where they've agreed to do it and they absolutely have not. Right now, we've kicked the can down the road 60 days and reopened it. Let me explain something to the dickhead from the art of the Department of War. You guys know I have a little exercise I do. It's a thought exercise. It's, it's right up there with Euclidean elements and first principles and shit like that. One of them is we'll call it the Metallica thought process. Am I evil? If I was, what would I do? You should always, when you're involved in a strategic circumstance, whether you're playing chess with somebody or football or if you're coaching a hockey team or if you're just strategizing for a work project or you've got competitors, whatever it is, you should think like them occasionally. You should go, if I was awful like they are, what would I do? One of the things you might do if you were the Iranians is drag this shit out as long as you can and create a 60-day, ceasefire so that shit will start up. You can rearm yourself, build up all your drones, get ready so you could swarm a ship and really fuck things up. Make Trump basically bomb civilian targets that you move everybody out of around August, September. 60 days from now is much closer to, and the pressure to make a deal, specifically punting that 60 days, brings that pressure upon Trump more than on you if you can drag this shit out 60 days. How many people think that at 59 fucking days the Iranians will go, nope, I don't like it. Wait, never mind. Well, we'll talk tomorrow. And you don't think Trump will add another 10 fucking days? And then what? The Iranians want this to drag out and affect him in the midterms. Period. And you would too. If you were like, okay, Trump is my enemy. I'm trying to take him down. I'm trying to kneecap him in the midterms. If I come to a conclusion right now, it doesn't help me. But if I can punt this shit out and call his bluff and make him look even weaker, because the closer we get to the election, the less likely he is to do shit. So in 59 days, it's fucking taco month. Do you understand? The Iranians know this. They brought in psychologists to manipulate to help them manipulate the language they were using to talk to Trump so that it would appeal to him, so that they could get him to sign on to this shit. And he hasn't even done it yet. There was going to be a digital signing yesterday. Didn't fucking happen. So far, we're exactly where we were, except for the Iranians are being more overt in their kind of, quote, tapping us along. So that ultimately, if they go, yeah, we agreed to it, then they can blame us if shit goes south, or Israel, right? They can have Hezbollah do something that looks so that Israel will act in disproportionate response, whatever, that kind of stuff. There are ways to trigger this. The Russians have been doing it with us in the Middle East forever. They can make that happen anytime they want during the 60 days. I'm Seinfelding. What is the deal with this memorandum of understanding? A preliminary. I don't know. I when I start getting really high voiced, Seinfeld, I start sounding like Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You are an asshole. All right. Yeah, it's going to be fucking Taco September. Absolutely.
This is not the JCPOA.
Oh, God, this is so fucking stupid. Look at him reading his talking points and recognizing that they are straight out of the JCPOA. You know what the difference between these terms and the JCPOA is? The JCPOA was negotiated and fucking signed and actually existed.
Nuclear material will be destroyed and removed. The nuclear program will be dismantled. The straits will be open.
Also, why would you have to read that off a cue card? He's clearly reading this off a list of talking points that he has taped to the bottom of the fucking screen. A, it's the Department of War. Get a fucking teleprompter, you tit. Secondly, at this point, you need to read what these points are?
This is not the JCPOA was a path to a bomb. What this deal will be a wall to a bomb.
Oh, God. Did you write that down, too? Who wrote that for you? Greg fucking Gutfeld? Just that whole, both of those sentences are just a dick shrivel.
That was the objective from the beginning, very clear from the beginning. So as far as our military posture, we'll maintain what we need to. The blockade has been a devastating success for us and impact on the Iranians. So think of this chain of events militarily, just for a second. You had four.
Okay, no. Think of this chain of events. Here's the chain of events. Allegedly, last year, we blew up Iran's entire nuclear program. We obliterated it. After that, the strait was open, and there was free flow of ships bringing not just fuel, but fertilizer and food goods for the Middle East in and out through the Strait of Hormuz. That existed after the bombing last year. And then Trump decided to take another swing at getting a worse deal than the JCPOA while spending a lot of lives and treasure in the area and killing a bunch of school kids.
5 days of overwhelming combat, which Iran could not manage, and their Navy's gone, Air Force gone, air defenses. Then it led to a blockade, which was impenetrable now for a couple of months. And
also, you can't say impenetrable when you're talking about a military blockade against civilian ships, dummy. It's so lazy.
you had the underground Project Freedom, which allowed now 125 million.
Underground Project Freedom. First of all, it's not even ground, it's ocean, waterways. So that would make it submarine.
Barrels of oil to transit the straits, showing that we control the straits. And then we did 2 more
We didn't, though.
days of bombing because they weren't really coming to the table. So
Yeah. And then we did 2 more days of bombing because they weren't really coming to the table. Yeah, that'll do it.
it's been military pressure and strength from President Trump that's compelled Iran to this deal, which will be performance-based when it's signed shortly.
Right, but we're not at that deal yet. We're not even
No, we're not at that deal yet. True. See, look, CBS acting like CBS still.
at the memorandum. That's what we're waiting on being signed today. The U.S.
It didn't get signed yesterday. It did not. They punted till Friday in Switzerland. And it's called the Memorandum of Understanding is it's called the Mission Accomplished Banner Memorandum of Understanding. Massive lethality, not tempered legality.
Israeli militaries, no doubt, did devastate the conventional military, as you are arguing there. But the IRGC terrorist-controlled regime, they control this country. They would be pocketing the financial benefits of being able to sell the oil if the blockade ends, as you just indicated. They didn't.
Wait, it looks like either he can't hear her or it's news to him that if we're blockading only the Iranian ships and our blockade goes away, those ships can move again. Is it just me, or does it seem like that's news to him? Like, is it? Did we?
Capitulate. They're negotiating. So how do you reassure allies who are
Capitulation, not negotiate. No, negotiation, not no. Negotiated capitulation, not capitulated negotiation. And other Vanilla Ice things.
region and say they still feel they are at risk? Are you keeping the force posture in place through the 60 days of negotiations and beyond?
I don't know. Trump made all this shit up before his bouncy house bullshit yesterday with the sweaty men he wanted to look at on the South Lawn. He hasn't said.
Oh, we'll make sure the military option is there. And that's the big
We'll make sure the military option is there. Oh, will ya?
big difference between this and JCPOA and the way Obama did it. Obama, they begged Iran for a deal, and we bombed Iran and then put in a blockade and then ran ships through and then have restarted when necessary to ensure.
Wow. Oh. You know what? I take it back. You should try harder. Okay, the line he was trying to get out of his stupid fucking keg breath mouth was the Obama administration begged their way to a deal. We bombed our way to a deal because we teabagged the country until they said uncle. But he like farted halfway through the line and screwed it up and had to divert to, we still can bomb shit if we want. We have stuff. There's stuff. Listen to this again.
Iran and JCPOA and the way Obama did it. Obama, they begged Iran for a deal, and we bombed Iran and then put in a blockade and then ran ships through and then have
Sorry, you ran ships through the blockade? You busted your own blockade? Keep that to yourself. And close your fucking drapes.
started when necessary to ensure that they come to the table for
We started when necessary to assure they come to the table. What, to negotiate the end of their obliterated nuclear program that hasn't existed for a year now?
great deal. So our military posture will be whatever it needs to be to ensure they're compelled over this 60 days through the memorandum of understanding that they live up.
You can hear his mouth going dry as he says memorandum, memorandum. Listen to the lip smack.
Over this 60 days through the memorandum of understanding that they live up to what they said they would do. The document says Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, won't seek one, won't buy one, won't have one.
JCPOA
In
said that
days,
too.
They'll be negotiating.
Yeah, the JCP, look at her, just fucking, dude, you can't brag about teabagging and then have the lady do it to you.
Negotiations to make that final. But they didn't have the threat of military force the way that we do, that Iran respects in a very way that their regime is more devastated.
I see. So at this point, you had a little Freudian slip there that Iran's military is more devastating than you thought.
Than it's ever been in its 47 years. And that's why they're at the table. So the huge difference.
Yeah. Their military is more devastated than it has ever been. Based on what? Your idea of what you actually know what their military was to begin with? Also, a bunch of their airplanes are parked in fucking Pakistan. That was part of the deal that they made with Pakistan to come to the negotiation tables there on behalf of Pakistan as an ally. So you didn't bomb any of the fucking planes that they have there, which is the vast, majority of their air force. Stupid.
We did this from a position of strength. President Trump led with military might. That military might will stay as long as necessary. If the blockade comes off, then you pull back and you allow shipping to flow, just like Iran needs to allow shipping to go through the Strait.
Right. That's what she's asking you. How far do you mean by pull back? Return to the United States, or just back out and watch as all the Iranian ships full of oil go out into the sea and watch Iran make money, billions and billions of dollars.
But we can snap that blockade back at any point, and they can't do anything about it.
Okay, there you go. That's his answer to her actual question. There's the answer, shithead. We can snap it back at any point, which means it's not leaving. You can't snap it back if it's halfway across the fucking Atlantic. Or all the way across the Atlantic. So they're staying for the next 60 days. The next 2 months, we're going to have warships parked around that area watching Iranian oil boats go by.
And Iran knows that, and that's why we have the leverage in these talks, and we hope they'll go well. We really do.
We do. We do. You do. You do. You really hope they go well. Do you? To quote Brad Pitt in F1, hope is not a strategy.
I understand it. The first part of this deal would involve the clearing and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
Stop calling it a deal. It's a memorandum of understanding. You understand?
Quickly will the U.S. blockade on Iran end? How quickly will they be able to sell their oil?
Immediately is what the president has said. And
nope.
That'll be our expectation of the Iranians, is that
so
it's
tomorrow
not us that
you'll end the blockade if they sign it
the
today.
problem here. So it's performance-based, Margaret. So we're not going to, unlike Obama, President Trump is smart about these things. He's not going to just give it away. So ultimately
Obama got a whole fucking thing agreed to and approved by the fucking Congress, you tit.
Blockade will stay as the strait opens, and then the blockade will open. And
oh my God, this is fucking painful. Just and the news like lapping this shit up.
This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit. Can't undo it.
listen to this shit again. Also, Maggot in the chat, if you're going to say you're a moron, spell your right. Otherwise, people will know that you're not American. So, all right, here we go.
So ultimately, the blockade will stay as the strait opens, and then the blockade will open.
Ultimately, the blockade will stay as the strait opens.
Away. So ultimately, the blockade will stay as the strait opens, and then the blockade will open, and then the straits open. And if that takes 30 days to fully mature or 2 weeks to fully mature, but it will start immediately, as the president has said. And by the
What the fuck does start to open? What's stopping it? Here's the straight fucking answer. And this is, as the head of the Department of War, he could say this. He goes, look, as soon as the president signs the thing, it says that the strait will be open, meaning the blockade ends and the strait is fully open. What that requires, though, is to make sure there are no mines in there, either ones that the Iranians know they put there or forgot they put there, or some rogue element of IRGC may have put there during the last couple of months just to fuck with us. So we're going to have to send minesweepers in there, and we're going to have to, protect the strait and make sure it's safe. And that process could take as much as 2 weeks. That's what we're doing first. But he's not saying that. Why is he not saying that? Because minesweeping is fucking dangerous. And we're not going to get, other countries are not going to put their people in harm's way.
I think your viewers need to remember, Project Freedom never stopped, and we've run 125 million barrels of oil through the straits, and Iran couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, in a period of time where over 4 billion barrels would have gone through in the same amount of time.
How many ships from Iran have transited our blockade? Zero. We have controlled the straits this entire time.
Right, but you're going
No, we have not.
to negotiate with them to
immediately and gradually.
reopen it. So, you're saying immediately, but Secretary Rubio had said the U.S. would help to clear mines from the Strait of Hormuz. You just used 30 days.
Yeah, and he's the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of War is too afraid to mention that.
As like a period of time. Can you clear the mines and remove the security threats in the Strait within 30 days?
We can do any of those things within 30 days in a permissive environment. So the ball is
in a permissive environment. Who do you need permission from? The mines?
is in Iran's court at
So
some
we
level
would get
agree
back
this
to
deal.
pre-war
We're already
shipping?
doing things We're already doing things I can't talk about on this program, and that to ensure that safe passage happens as quickly as possible. So
Why? Let me guess. Defense against missiles and drones, having the ships hug the coast of Oman to, because that's the safest passage area. Again, minesweepers having subs in the area. Stop me when I get to something that isn't fucking obvious.
all over this, we know exactly what the dynamics are. Iran probably doesn't because they
Oh my God.
can't see and sense their capabilities around the strait, especially these last couple nights were very devastating for them as far as their ability to understand what's going through the strait. So if they have
Who gives a shit if they're making a deal?
capabilities and can do it, great. If not, if international partners who've said they want to step up and contribute, great.
What do you mean, great? That, again, if they want to contribute, great is not a strategy. These are material realities. There are fucking mines in this area. And if there aren't, you have to let people know that they're gone or that they were never there in the first fucking place so ships can come through because they have billions of dollars of fucking cargo and millions upon millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, if not $1 billion plus of insurance they have to over their overwriters or whatever underwriters have to certify.
But once this deal is signed, our expectation is that Iran will stop shooting, drones at commercial shipping. It's been
Listen to that again.
that Iran will stop shooting, drones at commercial shipping. It's been them shooting at shipping the entire time.
Yeah, they did that
We shot ships. What the fuck are you talking about? That's how we enforced the blockade. We shot the engine rooms. What are you talking about? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Friday. And in fact, a drone collided with an Apache helicopter last week. They fired drones into Bahrain. They fired missiles at a U.S. base in Jordan just a few days ago.
And when ships tried to break the blockade, we fired on their engine room and disabled the ship.
still have the capacity to
And that's why you
hurt our
have to
friends and
deal with
partners.
these folks with strength and not just ask them at the table. And it's the military strength that compelled them to this point where they're making a deal which will be great for the security of the United States of America.
Tell you what, buddy, when they have, you can do you can victory lap your ass off.
That's why this is such a big moment. And only President Trump's strength and clarity of mission to say no nuclear weapon
The same thing that was in the JCPOA.
will ensure that now and underneath the MOU, the terms are set that are performance-based for Iran.
Oh, he's going to start calling it the MOU a bunch just because it sounds really fierce. Doesn't sound nearly as flaccid as Memorandum of Understanding.
To ensure that they never get a nuclear weapon. That's
Okay.
what's critical.
So once the 60 days of negotiations, and I know that could be extended, start,
Do you think?
that's when the nuclear program gets dealt with. President Trump posted on social media Saturday that, quote, at the appropriate time, when all is calm, we will go in and get the nuclear dust. That's how he refers to the highly enriched uranium under the bombed sites. He said, we'll downblend and destroy it, whether in Iran or the U.S.
We're not bringing fucking nuclear material all the way back to the United States to downblend it.
Is the goal, is the plan to have the UN do all of that?
I don't think the UN's been really effective in anything here.
The weapons
we'll
inspectors
handle
from
it
the IAEA?
as we need to. Ultimately, that could be part of it. The reality is President Trump has already set back Iran's nuclear program in devastating ways, from Midnight Hammer to this campaign.
Sorry, set it back. It's just been set back now, has it? It went from obliterated to a setback.
To ways that we know how far back we've set them. We're watching that material as we have this entire time.
Yeah.
And any arrangement, as I said from the outset of the program, will be performance and metrics based. You'll have inspections, you'll have oversight.
Yeah, that's why she's asking who's going to do the fucking inspections, dummy. If it's the IAEA, it's an international body, and therefore if Iran kills those people or fighting breaks out and they get killed, then they get in deep shit with the rest of the world. If it's our troops on the ground just being, fucking targets for short-range mortar and artillery attacks from rogue IRGC or terrorist organizations within Iran who don't like the deal, the fucking memorandum of understanding, the PMOA, the preliminary memorandum of understanding. If they don't like it, they can just open fire on our fucking people while they're in the country looking for the nuclear dust.
Whether they're U.S., whether they're international, but it'll be a throttle set by the United States through our negotiators with the military and strength as the guarantor of this. If Iran does not want to comply, then they can deal with the War Department again, which we'd rather not have to do, and President Trump would rather not have to do, but they know the type of devastating effects that have occurred on their military and on their air defenses and on their capabilities. They don't want that again. And so when we restruck twice, don't discount.
They've had a almost 40-day pause to rebuild their drones and their missiles stockpiles. They've still got a military relationship with both Russia, Pakistan, North Korea. China's still giving them engines for the Shahed drones, which, to make one of the Shahed drones now takes them, I think they can, their factories can crank out 5 a fucking day. That's what took down our helicopter. And even as depleted as they are.
Important it was that we were willing to show we will restart this and we will set you back even further. And that was
Oh no. Oh dear. An even bigger setback.
was part of the reason why Iran came to the table, and we're going to finish this initial MOU to set the clock. So that's
Well-
that.
We're going to finish this initial MOU. Presumably that means there may be other MOUs. The initial MOU, shit.
The umbrella here is
Okay.
we'll work with you to remove that material, or you'll downblend that material, but you're not going to have any of that material, and anything you do get.
Oh, they'll do it. What? Sorry, we've moved from obliterate to setback to trust me, bro.
Be based on oversight and performance. And Iran understands that, and that's why I think ultimately this is something that can and will succeed.
Well, those are really important details that still have to be negotiated. When I understood what you just said there, you said the IAEA could be involved. We have reported here at CBS that American military planners had discussed contingencies with U.S. forces and the Department of Energy working together to secure their nuclear materials.
Yeah, but he's the Secretary of War. He's been busy going to like oily man wrestling fests under the bouncy house on the South Lawn and flying down to Tennessee to, bump uglies with Kash Patel's girlfriend. So I don't know that he's up to speed on this, ma'am.
Are you saying that at the negotiating table, the United States is going to say the U.S. military has to go in and clean up the nuclear dust?
Well, I'm not going to say on a Sunday morning television program what we will or will not do in any context.
Yeah, I got a big secret. And I'm like, I totally know. I totally have a plan, right? And my plan, she's got a name. Her name is Pam. My deal is called Pam, and she lives in Canada. And I see her every year at summer camp, and she's totally hot, and you guys don't even know. And I could tell you all about her, but none of your business, okay? There are things we do that I could describe to you that we do sexually that, you probably don't even know how it works because you haven't done that stuff as much as we have. Me and my memorandum of understanding plan of ideas and things that totally lives in Canada.
We'll have all options on the table, and that's what we've said to President Trump and the American people and the world and the Iranians from the beginning. The entirety of the might of the U.S. War Department is prepared to ensure Iran never has a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so we're prepared to nuke them. Thanks.
We can do it the Midnight Hammer way. We can do it the Epic Fury way if we need to. Ultimately,
well, okay, so we didn't need to?
Iran will need to destroy it. And
also, both of those didn't lead to the end of their nuclear, I don't even know, like system, their nuclear strategy, their nuclear material. Like there's 7 sites, we hit 3 of them.
Downblend it, and we will be involved, whether physically or otherwise, to ensure that that happens. Could be the U.S. military, could be another option. I think our negotiators, our world-class negotiators, are going to have a lot of options.
Yeah. I don't know the things, and maybe.
The U.S. military is good at these types of things, so is the Energy Department, and so working with the Iranians to ensure it's destroyed and removed and their program is dismantled will be center.
Well, it's an important point for those who are
who would have to be in Iran.
Members of the U.S. military to understand whether you are saying ground troops would be involved in cleaning up nuclear dust.
That you're saying that. You're trying to put words in my mouth to create a headline.
Oh, what a pussy. Fuck you, dude. Just answer the question. You news people are mean to me. If they ask a pointed question or a leading question or a gotcha, be smart enough to answer without bitching first, you weasel.
And ground troops would be involved in cleaning up nuclear dust.
That you're saying that. You're trying to put words in my mouth to create a headline. What I'm saying is we have plans. No, we have plans for everything. And should the
Is one of those plans U.S. troops going in and getting the stuff? Then just fucking say so.
President need a compel option. We have compel options and many different types of compel.
Ooh, compel options. That sounds macho.
Options. But right now we've set the conditions for 60 days to ensure that that material is downblended, destroyed, or removed. Whatever the president decides is in the best interest of the United States of America, and the War Department is there to support that effort.
Let me ask you about Venezuela, because there was also big news within the past few days. President Trump said the U.S. military killed Nino Guerrero, the leader of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, in an airstrike earlier this week. He had been indicted in the Southern District of New York for many crimes. I'm wondering, why go with the strike option? Why not snatch and grab him and make him face justice in a U.S. court like you did with Nicolas Maduro?
Because it's easier to blow up a house and film it from the sky and then say he's in there, whether he is or not.
I was going to say, we did that. We've shown we can do that when we did it with Nicolas Maduro, and because of that.
Right. And this would be an easier target in theory than someone who has the entire backing of the Venezuelan military.
It created the conditions where, in partnership with the Venezuelan government, and this is a huge deal. I mean, they invited our military in because they have a foreign terrorist organization.
Did they have a choice?
On their soil in Tren de Aragua, the founder and leader, and we were able to identify where he was and kill him. Just like we would kill Al-Qaeda or ISIS, and we did in the Middle East, we treat these foreign terrorist organizations the same way, just like we do with drug boats when we identify they're run by those FTOs. So that's.
Yeah, they're not FTOs. They're not foreign terrorist organizations. They're not scaring people into doing coke, you dumb fuck. They're not terrorists. They enforce their territory. They tend to terrorize people who are also selling drugs.
Great development. I mean, think about that. President Trump had the foresight to seize Maduro, change the relationship. We have a totally different energy dynamic around the world. By the way energy flows today, the straits will be nowhere near as relevant 1 to 2 years from now. Because of the foresight of President Trump, he's made us energy independent at home. We're a net exporter. Now Venezuela, through our partner.
We're a net exporter because some of the shale oil that we take out, our processing facilities in the United States need that like thicker crude from Venezuela because they were built for it a long time ago, asshole.
Now we're killing foreign terrorist leaders.
Net exporter.
Who have terrorized the American people. The amount of drugs and gangs that came from
energy
the United States of America.
Prices are pretty high right now.
It's a huge deal.
So I don't know that the independence is helping people at the pump.
They are.
We'll talk about that later in the program, but I want to come back to the Venezuela point. Given that the U.S. military just carried out this operation, should Americans understand that the U.S. will remain militarily involved in Venezuela? Should they expect similar operations in places like Ecuador and Guatemala, where the U.S. is working with their governments?
Yes, they should. It's called the America's Counter Cartel Coalition, ACCC, and we're forming it with partner governments all around.
That's one. What's her name? Who was kicked to the curb? Kristi Noem. They added her to the team on that one.
South America to go after, defeat, and destroy foreign terrorist organizations, drug cartels, and all those countries you named are stepping up to work on partnerships with the United States, where we work with their governments and their militaries with their special capabilities and our special capabilities to hunt terrorist networks in our own hemisphere, just like we showed we were very good at with ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
ISIS and Al-Qaeda are there like to take land militarily on behalf of an ideology, and they use terrorism specifically as a tool to cull the population and to align them with their goals. Drug smugglers are not the same fucking thing. It's not even that they're good. It's that they're not terrorists.
In the Middle East for 20 years. It's an incredible reinforcement of the Monroe Doctrine, now the Donroe Doctrine.
Oh my God, please don't use that. It sounds so fucking lame. The Donroe Doctrine?
We're taking back control of our hemisphere and ensuring the poisoning and attacks on the American people end.
So, someone say Iran doesn't supply the West. First of all, there are European countries that get some of their oil from the Persian Gulf. But it's about the supply and demand in the world that creates the price. So the availability of stuff, whether we get it or not, doesn't matter. because it affects the cost of oil and gas on the open market, and also fertilizer. We have gone through an entire growing season because of this war and delivery system of fertilizer that is now delayed by months, if not just eliminated entirely, which will affect the cost of food going into next year. Because it might seem weird to the anti-establishment crowd out there, but if you want a society to fucking function, you got to make plans that are based in reality. But anyway, sorry, Hope Memorandum of Understanding.
So it's a beautiful military thing to behold.
Oh God, hold on. This I'm gonna close some pages.
Other countries coming to us to work with us, and we're going to take
Why are you not
full
talking?
advantage of it.
But let me ask you before you go about
Oh, sorry, my earphones decided to bug out all of a sudden. It might be fine for you guys, but it is not fine for me. Let's go back to here. Let's see. Is mine in there?
This is some bullshit.
Okay, so it's an issue with this.
what is going on with U.S. munitions and stockpiles here. Ukraine's President Zelensky was on this program a few weeks ago. U.S. munitions and stockpiles here. Ukraine's President Zelensky was on this program a few weeks ago. He made a plea, not just
the audio isn't their issue. Maybe it's or my issue. Maybe it's theirs.
Years. It's an incredible reinforcement of the Monroe Doctrine, now the Dunroe Doctrine. We're taking back control of our hemisphere and ensuring
you guys are probably
that
hearing it, and I am
attacks
not.
on the American
This is being weird.
people end. So it's a beautiful military thing to behold. Other countries coming to us to work with us, and we're going to take full advantage of it.
But let me ask you before you go about what is going on with U.S. munitions and stockpiles here. Ukraine's President Zelensky was on this program a few weeks ago. He made a plea not just for more interceptors, but for the ability to produce them for friendly governments to be able to produce Patriots.
Yeah, it's kind of like the F-35 program, and the fact that we think we learn our lesson with Hungary and Turkey being part of the assembly process for the F-35, and
some Republican lawmakers support this idea. Do you?
Nobody makes better and more munitions than the United States of America, and we are open to
oh, for fuck's sake, do you support it or not?
production wherever we can. And because of this administration, we're supercharging our arsenal of freedom, building more, building faster, opening up the Pentagon, ripping through the Pentagon bureaucracy to force industry to move faster. So
but there are
our
crisis,
stockpiles
there
are
is a
strong,
crisis
and
with
they will
those
only get
stockpiles
stronger
right
in the future.
now. There is a crisis with the stockpiles
there
right
is not.
now in private industry.
That is a manufactured story that the media wants to peddle,
Congress.
and ultimately we're
Also, why does he think the media wants to peddle an idea that we have a stockpile issue instead of a genuine concern based on reality? What value is it for them to say we're running out of missiles if we just fucking don't? We're going to run out of these in a couple weeks. We didn't. That date passed. You end up looking like one of these assholes who predicted the end of the world and is still on the earth in his underpants with his balls in a plastic bag and his shoes next to the bed.
our stockpiles are great, and they'll only get stronger because of the way this president has.
You
And
testified
if anything,
under oath that it would
was
take
the
years
Biden
to
administration
rebuild
that
those
gave away
stockpiles.
munitions to
Hold on. What'd she say? Because they're talking over each other. 1 second. Boink.
President has.
You
And if
testified
anything,
under oath that it would
You testified under oath.
it was
take
the
years
Biden
to
administration
rebuild
that
those
gave away
stockpiles.
munitions to the. You don't have to read back to me what I testified. I speculated some munitions take more time than others. We've got lots of them. We're building more than ever before. The Biden administration gave away hundreds of billions to Ukraine, and so President Trump had to refill, and he has, and we have in real time.
So the answer to
No, we're not refilling them in real time. You're not generating a missile for every missile fired, you fucking weirdo. Just say you're regenerating them. In real time is dumb.
request is a no or a yes?
Every missile we fire gives birth to a baby missile. And then the egg hatches when a mommy missile and a daddy missile love each other very much. Good Lord.
Ultimately, We've worked with them, and Ukraine is buying munitions that Europe pays for, and it's great to see Europe finally step up and pay for those.
Okay. Well, he was asking for the ability to produce, but I'll leave it.
We're selling more than we make. Don't worry about it. It's we're making money hand over fist. We're in the war business now, so it's awesome, and you can't go wrong because this is sweet. Yeah, Pig Keg Breath really has a rough time on these shows. Zelensky is a Zio, so you mean he's a Jew? He's not a Zionist. I think he's made the point that if Israel has a right to exist and a right to defend itself has been the language for a very long time, so therefore should Ukraine. It's not quite the same thing. I think he's kind of, if I would argue, to paraphrase or borrow a phrase, weaponizing that language for himself. Let's see. His dissing of Biden annoys me, but it's valuable to remind the public of how much they blame him instead of taking accountability. Yeah, that's the habit. You know, it's the TDE they have. Yes, that's true. They literally grow on missile trees. You could find new missiles. We get our Patriots out of a cabbage patch, and no one has sex, which is dirty. Hey, can you guys not use anti-gay epithets in your language? Can you even attempt to know the difference between like swearing for emphasis and saying derogatory shit? Or are you just too emotionally, mentally, and sexually weak to be able to stand on your own big boy words or big girl words? I'm sorry to assume you're men. So lame. Now, there was how are you doing on time? Okay, go all right. Let me get this guy right there. Yeah. The part of the conversation that has been happening around Trump. See if I can blow this up a little bit bigger for you guys. Part of the big conversation, especially around Lewinsky, or listen to me, Lewinsky. Why is that? Oh, is that you sons of bitches? That's a paid article in there. There is a big conversation. Lewandowski is who I was thinking of. Yeah. There was a statement by JD Couch Humping Vance.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, take it higher, can't retreat.
All right, listen to that. This is what happens when my audio thing gets all funky. I think it's these headphones. I think they just kind of have a panic attack if the battery gets low. I'm going to swap them out while I'm talking. But one of the things Dr. John Gartner has been talking about, who our dear friend Doc Adam always talks about, has this. He's a former professor at Johns Hopkins. He brings up the fact that JD Vance started talking about Trump's health in a way like, yeah, he's super healthy, almost to the point of absurdity, which in and of itself is like a warning. Guys, he's in great shape. No, it's amazing. I mean, never sleeps, which is awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's JD Vance's way of saying, hey guys, don't fuck with me. I might be president sooner than you know it. And there is a sort of, they're starting to flick us towards both in the White House and, the Susie Wiles and others around him. And of course, JD Vance are kind of like sending little hints that Trump might not make it certainly not to the end of the term, but maybe not even to the midterms. And you get this kind of statement. Let me bring this down a little bit. There you go. Psychologists share sobering warning about Trump as his health worsens, setting us up. So Dr. John Gardner, a former assistant professor at Johns Hopkins University Medical School, argued on a new episode of the Daily Beast podcast with Joanne Coles, who I think she's the one who talks to Michael Wolff all the time, that Trump appears to be grooming the American public to accept the prospect of what could be his most destructive act yet. That is happening at the same time while Trump's symptoms have become so extreme, according to John Gardner, that the president appears to be the sickest individual that Gardner has ever witnessed, certainly in a position of power, I guess. In 40 years of clinical practice and almost 30 years of teaching psychiatric residents, I've never encountered a patient as sick as Donald Trump. He's so many standard deviations away from what we would normally consider normal. And that it's coming to a head now is in his fantasies of being this military conqueror. Hence his giant arc of triumph that the insult comic dog, and he wants to be a war president since he's not going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. He'd rather win a Nobel War Prize. Blah 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 blah. Observers have drawn comparisons between Trump and other military conquerors such as Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and Julius Caesar throughout Trump's second term. For instance, Trump wrote that on social media in 2025 that he who saves his country does not violate any law, a reference to Napoleon, and also Nixon. If the president does it, then it is not a crime. He has also drawn comparisons to Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar in his pursuit of unchecked power. I think he's got more in parallel with Dom DeLuise's emperor in the history of the world. Gardner warned that these actions show Trump is grooming the American public for a new kind of military skirmish, one that involves nuclear weapons, what I believe, and that he's throwing this around. He also wants to seem macho, so it's hard to say whether he'll actually use it or he just wants to go, I could use these anytime I want to, so watch yourself. He's learned that from Putin. What I believe is he's setting us up. He's grooming us for nuclear war. He wants to be the person who pushes the button first because that would put him in history as the most powerfully destructive military leader in human history, and that is what he gets off on because of his sadism. Arguably, like think of Iran as a teenage girl's nipples, if you know that story. He actually gets incredible gratification from destroying things and hurting people and feeling powerful through that. As he's starting to have more and more problems at home, his poll numbers are in the toilet. The economy's in the toilet. He might lose both houses of Congress. If he does, what's the one power he has that no one can assail? Even if we have both houses of Congress, he will still be commander in chief, and he's going to want to exercise that power in a way that makes him feel powerful. That's that, and also. He might just be on a hard brain fade more than anything else. Hold on one second. Let me into this business. Yeah. And then, so he forgot Melania's birthday, so she forgot his. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, yeah. And again, the stuff that was said on stage at the bouncy house outside on the South Lawn, I'm not even going to address because it's gross and stupid. Yeah. Ugh. I'm going to pull up one more thing. Trump, and this is the issue too with his like hard brain fade. And by the way, just a heads up, there's some pictures in this that are really rough to look at. Yeah, this is just nasty. Melania did not go to the UFC fight thing. Yeah. If you're not a wrestler, cut the hair. Okay. If you're challenging me to a wrestle, that's, I'm already in a relationship. Also, tell that to the apostles and anybody in a rock band. So, yeah. Anyway, so I love that the Russians, when they show up in our chat room, are always like, you got girl hair. I am totally American. All right. Anyways, Trump 80 drives White House nuts with his, quote, psychiatrist. The president seriously can't get enough of an aide others in the West Wing describe as his 100% hype man and the keeper of dog shit ideas. Boris Epstein, this has been part of the story lately, and Donald Trump has taken to patching his personal lawyer come therapist into Oval Office speakerphone without telling anyone else present. Boris Epshteyn, the 80-year-old president's 43-year-old personal counsel, has quietly emerged through Trump's second term as one of the Capitol's most powerful operators. He's like my psychiatrist, the president has apparently joked about how often the two speak. But not everyone in Trump's orbit is sold. He's a 100% hype man and cheering section for POTUS. It's sometimes a bit much, one advisor said. He's the keeper of dog shit ideas, so nothing has changed. Describing the lawyer as one of the 5 most powerful people around the president, at his least powerful, other than the fact that he, I guess, has access to the football. Epstein, brief, and you know what? It might just be that Trump is just comfortable with somebody with that last name. It's like a habit, you know what I mean? It's just nice to have somebody named Epstein around. Right. Briefly worked in the White House during Trump's first term and was a key figure in his efforts to challenging the 2020 election results. He then marshaled Trump's defense across 2 civil cases, 4 criminal prosecutions that he got convicted for. That fight produced the Supreme Court's landmark ruling on presidential immunity, which handed former presidents sweeping protection from prosecution over official acts, which also totally eliminated the ability for him to question anything that the president did or the president orders anybody else to do. So even if he wanted to go after Hillary Clinton for shit that he thinks she pulled, all she has to go is it's covered by executive privilege, and all Obama says is that that is covered by the the agreement, whatever. They could just cite the case. That requires me to go into my deliberations about the security of the United States of America. So fuck off. Allies credit Epstein's combativeness with Trump, keeping Trump out of prison. Nope. Merrick Garland's dragging his feet did that. Boris delivered in a crucible of battle. That's just more fucking battle language from Steve Bannon, who's a douchebag. I'm just saying, if there was ever plague in Washington and it came from fleas, they're going to find out it came from Bannon. The attorney also helped shape the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, which Trump is always intended to keep for himself. Sorry, Jan Sixers, but it would be another way for you to feel completely fucked. The administration abandoned last week after lawmakers of both parties revolted, or found it revolting, I think is closer to the truth, but his reach runs well past the courtroom. Having been installed as Trump's media chair in April, he's part of the team that posts things at all hours to make it look like Trump never sleeps when he absolutely is in a fucking Michael Jackson coma every night. Advisors say Epstein further carries an increasing amount of weight in the Justice Department, given his ties to acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is also, again, these are Trump's personal lawyers who are tasked with keeping the parts of the Epstein files that he's in, which is a lot of it, over half of what's left, out of the public eye. Epstein's spending, which reportedly includes custom suits, a Bentley, regular dinners at top-end DC steakhouse, has long fueled gossip about his finances. A friend was quick to throw cold water on any speculation about the source of his wealth that it may and how it may have increased since Trump retook the White House. Boris has lived the exact same lifestyle for the past decade. Any suggested contrary is founded on baseless rumors and innuendo. So the source was Boris. Right. Yeah. Yeah, hit the like, by the way. If you're a maggot and you're in the chat and you're just here dealing with the fact that Donald Trump said no new forever wars and stuff like that, and we're at the 40th time he's punted on this bullshit, we're in a 60-day holding pattern again, just like the last 40 days, which will be a mix and match hot war, cold war, and that the Strait is not open, blah, blah, blah. And if they open it, they're going to have to shut it again and yada, yada, because he started this shit. And there's no way to fix it without actually changing the governing system of Iran, regime change, not just changing who's in charge of the regime, but the actual functioning regime is the only way out of this. And that's what has the Israelis and most of Europe freaked out. Not our fault. Yeah. Biden didn't force him into eliminating the people that were talking to kill everybody except the hardliners, who are the only people left who aren't going to listen to this deal and are going to tell the prime minister to go fuck himself. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, thanks. Somebody just said it. Personally, I love your house, your hair, Hal. Thank you very much. You know, I appreciate that. I don't wear my hair long because of people's opinion of it, or I wouldn't have it long in the first place, right? Yeah, some people with BDS definitely just kind of react that way. How dare you know it? Boris Epstein was the political analyst for Sinclair Media Group. Oh yeah, I mean it, and which is again a Russian satellite in the United States. And look at that, gifted memberships. That's lovely. That's the way to show MAGA. Subscribe. Yeah. Thank you, Colleen. Your hair suits me. Thanks. I hope so. It's it's growing back out. I had to trim some of the split ends. You know how it gets. I think Hal's trying to mimic Worf from Star Trek when Worf said, "Oh, thank you. That's so sweet." Klingons fairly macho, I think, in that regard. 90% of MAGA are bald. Yeah, but largely by choice. Wink, wink. I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't it doesn't matter whether someone likes aesthetically, likes or doesn't like long hair, or somebody wears their hair long or that they don't. It's just particularly odd that the Freedom Group thinks that that's an attack. Also, I expect you to go tell Ted Nugent to go fuck himself right after this. And I assume that when the next, Caviezel Jesus movie comes up, you insist he has a buzz cut because long hair is gay, right? Yeah. So and a mullet isn't long hair. Mullet is the like wearing water wings version of having long hair. Right? You'd love to tilt that. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Plenty of people that they like have long hair. They're just odd about it. They think it's a dunk. It's so odd. It's almost cute. Also, I guess it works other places. Maybe that's it. A lot of the insulting stuff that they throw around, the maggots in particular, is because they're used to dealing in such on such delicate shows and delicate chat rooms, right? And I, obviously the root of it really is the projection of their own weak ego, because if that would hurt your feelings, then then maybe it'll work on him, is the idea that they're thinking. So they say stuff like, if I say gay, it'll upset him the way if somebody called me gay, you're like, okay. Yeah, you're going to have to come up with better insults because, again, you're insulting. Most people insult based on what they think would offend or insult them. And oftentimes they're wrong because the very reason the person that you're trying to insult or offend is your opposite in that circumstance is because they don't operate in the same kind of BS, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, wingman, pedo protecting, Kash Patel, like neo-fascistic, Musk sucking world. And so the insults that work, that they would all be hurt by, just don't project well. Yep. I'm doing very well, Hopper. Thank you. I'm doing very well. Thank you, Nola Carnes. Bless you for that. Yeah, thanks, guys, for the super chats today. Nola Carnes says, love Hal's hair. Thank you. Congrats, JD Christie, on 10 years of sobriety today. Good for you. Optimistic stoicism for the win. That's how you get through. It's the natural state of humanity, I'm telling you. Congrats. Oh, thanks, Gabriel. Congrats on the growth of your channel, brother. It's been a while now. I'm back for more Trump accountability badge. Let's go. Yeah, it's, it's growing. And, obviously I'm not on one channel, so I don't put all my, all my bumpy horses aren't in one cognitive exam, just to be safe. Take your camel to bed. Sick person. what that means. And no, Carnes, love you back. Time Changer, should I bring Book of Persian Myths? Yes, absolutely. Why not? I'm singing tomorrow night at the Jam. I'm singing a Queen song. We're doing We Are the Champions and Jump, and I'm doing Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone by Cinderella and Live and Let Die. And because we're celebrating like keyboard and piano songs. And that's one of the standouts. We were going to do November Rain, but I don't think they want to do the whole piano like ballads all the time. But Freddie Mercury's family are all Zoroastrians, which is the natural the indigenous religion of Persia, and also the one that the Abrahamic religions kind of piggybacked on. So. How let's get you to 100K before January 1st. I think we can do it by the end of the summer if we apply ourselves. I did look at my numbers, and there's like 77% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So all you got to do is hit the subscribe thing, and we're good. Huh? Come on. Just give it a little subscribe. You can do it. It's okay. So a bumpy horse maybe my giggle story every time. Yeah, it's good. And maggots, go look that up. Go look up Bumpy Horse. And it's not a Friends Phoebe reference. I'll give you a hint so you don't go down a rabbit hole. We're almost at the end of the show. This afternoon, I've got a lot to cover, so good Lord. But I normally don't do videos in the morning show, but since Keg Breath, Pig Keg Breath, which it will never get old, had to face plant along with JD Vance on the Meet the Press and Face the Nation and Farce the Nation, I guess. And those I think the big news with JD Vance, and we'll look at his interview this afternoon, is all his hints that Trump is not going to be around. Yeah. I mean, that whole interview is simply just Trump's old and he's going to die soon and I'm going to be president. So you better watch yourself. And also nobody's going to be afraid of him. So, and the Republicans, you want to see why won't the Republicans stand up to the president? Well, wait till JD Vance comes in and starts doing stupid shit they don't like because he doesn't have the maggot support that Trump has. And they're just going to go, fuck you, dude. You're not going to be the guy. We know it. So we got to start building up our bona fides with independence again, or we're not going to be able to win re-election on our own races, much less in 2028. Yeah. So, anyways, hit the like. I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. I've got a right at the tail end of the show, I got to bug out because of a medical thing dealing with the current unpleasantness. But I will be back this afternoon for the regular show, so fear not, all's well. And then tomorrow I have the Ultimate Jam. So depending on how the medical stuff that has to be done today works out, I'll either be driving in tonight or early in the morning. And so we'll see if more than likely no show in the afternoon tomorrow, but we'll give it a try, And also, I think
It's time for a shameless plug. Oh yeah, it's shameless plug time.
I think, let's see, I think I can bring it up here. We just had the Ritz. That was great. I've got to change it up. Where's our other promos? There they are. Get out of here, Denver. There you go. Get there. And there you go. And then take the San Jose down. Dink. We did that one. It was great. Next up, July 31st, Denver, at Ophelia's. It's going to be great and awesome and super fun and all that stuff. And also, on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we've got, there we go, this guy, and Sexy Liberal, October 24th, 2026, 8 o'clock. I ran into Mark P. He said he's already going to be there. That's really awesome. We will see you guys. There's obviously, there'll be a meet and grope more than likely for VIPs and whatnot and all that stuff. I don't know. They handle that part of it. I'm just showing up and being funny, as I do. It's a job. And so October 24th, 8 o'clock, Saban Theater, Beverly Hills, which again, only just barely simmer down. It's at Wilshire and La Cienega, basically. Like that's Beverly Hills, like O'Hare is Chicago. Excellent. Well, I hope Ophelia is good. I've never been there, so. Tracy Gunn's on thread is fire. Tracy Gunn's a nice guy. Always been great. Just a decent dude. All right. That said, I'm going to leave you guys, and I will see you this afternoon. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I would like to remind everyone, there is no deal. Knock it off. Stop with the BS. When they sign something, I'll gladly say, finally, we got something that put us back to where we were before this shit started. But no better, because we don't know that they're going to comply. And Mr. Art of the Deal had to bomb the living shit out of somebody and threaten every civilian in the country to get them back to a deal. Which, again, is art of the strong arm, then, I guess, to get them to a preliminary memorandum of understanding. Is a shut up. It's so pathetic. You guys are awesome. I'll see you this afternoon.
Wall still warm with a ghost of us. Name in my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two. Like a bruise leaves its mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see.